Ladies and gentlemen, is this mic working? I think it is. Kind sir and kind, ma'am. I was reaching over to grab this. It's a Minecraft torch angle today. Much love to you. Don't get shot by this torch. Everyone gets packed up nowadays in Minecraft YouTube family friendly. I can't even speak right now. I'm having a stuttering problem. It's been going on all day. There's a hex on me. I need a decurse. Settle down. Don't get packed up. I said what I said, young sir, young ma'am. Anywho, much love to you. Hope everyone's having a good day. Yes, it is J Tello in the flesh, Papa T. Much love to you. Before we continue today's video, check out the link below. Rested XP, your guide through all of Azeroth and conquesting your journeys around the kingdoms and Kalmador and all sorts of areas. Support the boy, support the channel, and if not, just subscribe, just like the content. That's all I really care about. Much love. Besides that, though, we got a big discussion today in terms of talking about Molten Core, talking about fire resistance, talking about a new article that they actually just put out that we're going to basically discuss with you on how the heat levels actually work and what's going on with Molten Core heat level, so everybody knows what's going on. And then we're talking about PvE Ret Paladin guide. I have like 6 to 7, I think 7 different builds that I made that I'm going to recommend to you guys. This is with full potions, full consumes, ray buffs maxed out, like you're basically maxed the hell out. And then also a broke boy build as well for those who are not swiping. Much love to you. But besides that, let's get into the video as to today. So, Molten Core heat levels explained for Season of Discovery. The temperatures rises with the release of MC on July 25th, which is basically tomorrow. And Season of Discovery is presented with a unique challenge as a new heat mechanic is introduced in MC, which is not to be taken lightly. When you first zone in MC, speak with the Hydraxian Warlord's NPC at the entrance to choose one of the 3 basically different heat levels, which is named from Sweltering, Blistering, or Molten, with an increase in difficulty at each level. Now, this is the information right here that we wanted to know, because we were really concerned. People were saying you gotta be at 210, 300, etc. It seems like it's easier than we thought, to be honest. If things get too hot to handle, you could swap heat levels at any time. Simply speak with the NPC at the entrance of MC while not in combat, and you will also have another opportunity to swap heat levels again with the NPCs that spawn after using I can't even pronounce this. Is this quintessence to douse boss runs? Oh yeah, for the douses. Anywho, besides that though, Heat level 1, Sweltering Heat, which is your base level MC, is the easiest of the 3 modes, is designed to be approachable to all groups. Sweltering Heat is for those visiting MC with a less prepared to handle the heat pretty much. Fewer consumables, fewer fire resist buffs needed. Basically, your easy mode, traditional MC, right? Just go through the MC, get your loot, get out of there. Not a problem, right? Level 2, though, Blistering Heat. Basically, your normal mode, as they say it, requires more coordination and basic prep. For those who have moderate amount of consumes, enchants, buffs, normal fire resistance, etc., Blistering Heat should be a breeze. Geared for rewarding Blistering Heat are the same as Sweltering Heat, with an additional drops from most bosses. Recommendations fire resist is only plus 96 or higher. Guys, that's not a lot. Plus 96, everybody was speculating, oh, it's going to be like 210 off the rip, and then level 3 might be 310 or something of that nature. 96? You get 60 with fire resist buff aura already, and a couple enchants and some fire pots, you're good to go. That's nothing. And maybe a couple gear swap options, that is nothing. I personally recommend, if you guys are going to be doing MC for any of your guilds out there, go into heat level 2 first. And if you're having an issue, turn that bitch down. But still, heat level 2 seems to be no problem. But heat level 3 is when things are going to get obviously a little bit more serious, and we're going to go from there. So the heat turns up with Molten Heat for skilled groups that are prepared to face the fire. The rewards for Molten Heat are the same as Blistering Heat, with a few additional items available for later in the raid, along with unique weapon cosmetics. Recommended fire resistance is 226 or higher, so you're going to actually need to have fire resistance, have your Hydraxian levels up, have your Argent Dawn, and your Thorium up. Any single thing possible to give you fire resistance. You're gonna have you're gonna need basically all your reps up, all your consumables, all your enchants, your fire resist on your cloaks, fire resist on the the head, anywhere, any slot possible. You're gonna need fire fucking resistance, even on your trinkets, and also with getting your tier sets that have the natural fire resistance built in within that as well. So it's basically just a lot of fire resist, including your auras, right? For shamans, for paladins, we both have our 2 different ways of giving auras to our groups. and go from there. Can you handle the heat though? Which each heat level comes with increased difficulty with additional mechanics, damage, and increased requirement for fire resistance. In OG WoW, resistance was often an inconsistent statistic. Sometimes you would fully resist all damage, sometimes you would resist none. Even with the maximum fire resistance being worn, resistance still works this way. However, once you get the blistering heat or molten heat, those difficulties require a certain amount of fire resistance to progress consistently, and the required amount will increase between blistering and molten heat levels. This additional layer to use to the basically the usual, have some heat resist gear and hope it saves your healer some mana mechanic from the original WoW. Some mechanics could leave you burnt to a crisp if you don't meet the required fire resistant requirements. We point this out because the need for fire resistance, or just resistance in general, and resistance for fights has long been contentious in World of Warcraft. While it's an iconic part of WoW, it's easy to see in hindsight that it's not always a great feeling to be incentivized to not wear your best gear for appropriate fights. We've recognized this, and that's part of why we felt it important to explain the intended design of the mechanic. One of the most fun and iconic things about Classic is preparation, or at times over preparation for challenges, and the base game heavily rewards players for that preparation. We want to use fire resistance to play up that aspect of the raid preparation and promote healthy and satisfying gear progression as you gear up for basically MC within there. When you enter your first MC and want to tackle blistering or molten heat difficulty, you may need to wear suboptimal pieces or gear to simply survive. Fairly quickly, however, more and more gear will drop in the rain is optimal for you to be wearing, including tier sets, which we've just explained before, which you will notice already have a certain amount of fire resistance. The idea here is that you obtain the items you want to wear. They convey much of the same benefits as less of the powerful pieces from fire resistance you may have farmed or crafted before your first trips into MC. The eventual goal of the gear progression is to allow you to succeed on the highest difficulty level, primarily by using your tier set, appropriate group or raid buffs, consumables, and good group coordination. A new boss heat things up, so we're going to be talking about the new boss as well, guys. So, lastly, the Molten Core raid will have an additional not yet known boss when Molten Core releases. This boss bonuses will only be available in Molten Heat, which is kind of interesting because I thought they said that the new boss was there was nothing like unique or something you can't do, you know. I thought it was going to be available in all levels, but it seems like it's only exclusive to the last level of the heat difficulty, which means there is something you will be missing out on if you never see MC3. You will only see the regular bosses in MC1 and 2, which is a little interesting on why they decided to go with that. I'm curious on that decision, to be honest. Requiring players to clear every boss before gaining access to the last, basically, version of MC. The boss is an optional challenge that groups can work towards over time. We do not wish to gate exclusive rewards behind challenging content, because this boss will be tricky and require progression through the rest of MC on the highest difficulty. This boss will not drop unique or exclusive loot, so it's nothing that is something you will be missing out on. That you feel like, oh, you feel bad about, they're basically getting at from what I'm reading here. But basically they're saying instead he'll drop tier tokens and a chance a few other exciting items. But what are those exciting items? Like for some people, that could be either a change in bigger crit chance, bigger damage, more healing done. What does this exactly mean? More defense? Is this an item that a lot of people are going to want to go after? We have to see the loot table of this new boss to really make a fair decision before we can say Blizzard's making a bad choice here or not. But all gear can be obtained elsewhere in Molten Core is what they're getting at. We hope to see basically a wide variety of groups attempt Molten Heat difficulty, have a satisfying progression, and not feel like they're missing out on exclusive power impacting gear if they aren't able to clear every boss on Molten Heat level each week. Like many things in SOD, this is an experiment. We hope to use the lessons we learned from this boss in the Heat system, and apply those lessons to future classic raid tiers and potential future content. We hope this helps set the groundwork, what we expect for MC, and also help illustrate our intentions for resistant fights and raid difficulty with this raid tier. We want to emulate the feeling of gear progression from original WoW as much as possible, with the added benefit of more powerful bespoke gear of a wide variety of playstyles with each class. And that's about it, guys. So we have MC and Onyxia coming out this week. What do you guys think about this information? Do you think it's a little unfair? Like, and I'm asking you guys this. This is not my personal opinion. I'm asking you. Do you think it's unfair that they're locking this boss besides, you know, MC3, and you won't be able to do this in MC 1 and 2? Or do you think it's actually cool for the fact that you have to work towards something and grind and have good group coordination and play with, you know, a good strong guild, or an optimal guild at least, that knows what they're doing, get to, you know, clear each week and get to that MC3, make it feel like more of a reward, if anything, for, you know, just grinding? Let me know in the comments below on your opinions on that. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. But besides that, let's go into now the Paladin portion of this video. Shout out to my Paladins out there. This is a Paladin PvE guide from me that I'm personally recommending what to use going into MC. Now that we have this new information, it kind of changed my ways of thinking about it. But now, in my opinion, MC1, MC2 is going to be a joke. It seems like MC3 is really going to be the thing to do. And it seems like that's what they want as well from the devs. So, from MC, just basically, this is like my gear right now. Let's say we're going to do MC1, MC2. Alone right now, we're already sitting at 75 fire resistance. I know you guys probably can't see, maybe you see it down here, but we're at 75 right below my camera. 75 fire resistance. And already, if we just go back here, it's only 96. And this is like without popping potions or anything like that, you know, fire protection pots and stuff. This is not going to be that hard. And also, like, if you wanted to get a couple other fire options, even with the cloak, you can get, like, you know, fire resistance right here, or greater fire resistance with 15 fire resistance, and already you're at 90. I'm sorry with the camera, guys, but you'll be right here at 90. This is not going to be, I don't think this is going to be that hard at all. I remember doing MC back in the day on my warrior, when I was doing an arms warrior, and it was even a joke then. It was more of a spectacle of a raid and just enjoying, you know, a lot of trash in the raid, but overall just the hype of being in Molten Core. It's a long raid too, with a lot of BS in the way, right? But besides that, honestly, this is like your basic, we're gonna call this the basic bitch, okay? We're gonna call this basic bitch getting into Molten Core, because this is what it is. It really is. And you can have some trinket options, don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about that in a second. If I drop down the arrow here, you see I made a lot of options. Fire resist, more fire resist, twisting options, and I made 3 Exodin options as well. Because when it comes to, you know, twisting, right now, I was very fortunate the other night to get the Black Blade of Sharam. I'll probably showcase a kip. I can't even speak English anymore. Somebody get me packed up into a pack of 5 gum and sell me at a quick check. Anywho, yeah, I have a clip down below. Shout out to the boy Thor, who's in my guild now, by the way. Much love to Over Paladin, Sage Thor. Shout out to him. He clipped that I got the Black Blade of Sharam the other day. And what's actually cool about Sharam, I made a weak aura for this. The Black Blade has so many different buffs, which we'll showcase on the screen here, that you can get a multitude of random buffs, including even health and mana, from a random proc from this, or a benefit in stats plus 50 twice, which is insane to yourself only. But there's a lot of group-based buffs with this sword while I have it. So this is more of your seal twisting style of Paladin, because we're using a very slow weapon at 3.80, which is very juicy. We would love 4.0, maybe once we get redefined Arcanite Reaper, so to say. I would love that. But besides that, we're going in here with a very strength-based, high crit-based, and, you know, some fire resist. Obviously, we'll be fine. With the potions, we'll be chilling. And even down below on the stats, we're looking good already at 8% hit. With the buffs from everybody else, you can see there's a lot of consumables going on here. If you have all your raid buffs and shit, you're looking juiced the fuck out, all right? And you're going to be critting a lot. Some big seal twist happening here. You don't need to sacrifice, you know, certain trinkets for, you know, more hit. You're good at your hit already. And this build is mainly focused on the pre-Sunken Temple, the best in slot then and last phase, because that 3% chance to get an extra attack is massive. It only equals out to more damage. We're really prioritizing here twisting, and this is what the talents we're going into, because we have the 3 into precision. We're going into divine strength, righteousness, and consecration. You could just switch out if you want to do for trash packs. I would recommend, instead of using the Libram of Fever, you would use the Libram of Consecrated between trash pools. Now, some WoW sims might show that Consecrated might be more damage output by, let's say, 50 to 100 DPS more. It all depends, but personally, I like the way Libram of Fervor is because of the increased AP bonus from Seal of the Crusader by 48, and holy damage increase of your judgment of the Crusader by 33. So obviously we're going to be pre-putting Crusader on the boss, but then after that it's all just twisting, right? So we're mainly twisting, we're using our Divine Storm, we're using our Exorcism because it counts as holy damage as well, and Crusader Strike, which is holy damage as well. So that is what we're going with. Beads of Ogre Might, this is something that I'm choosing to use. You can go with Mark of the Ford Ring. That's what you get from the In the Dreams quest. If you believe it's in the Plague Lands, if you can get this relatively easy. There's a lot of other necklaces that you can run with as well, but this is the option 1 PvE twisting, okay? So just option 1, completely up to you. It's very annoying, I will say right now. I might have to make a separate video on this because the tier quest for 0.5 is a bitch. I might have to make a separate video on that discussing how annoying that shit was. The 25% chance for that boss to spawn and Silithus, yeah, let's pack up these devs. Much love to you. Shout out to Agrin. But yeah, we have a situation. You expect a video on that one. Thur off there, what I said. You're on high alert. However, though, yeah, that tier quest is ass. But besides that, most of these items you see on the screen here, they are annoying to get. But this is what I currently am running. A Don Julio's ban I'm getting today, which I'm looking forward to getting. That's from AV Exalted right here. Don Julio's ban. AV Exalted, it's a bit of a bitch. And then now they made some silent nerf changes to AV, which I heard. That'll be a discussion for another video. But yes, Don Julio's ban is extremely good. Getting your crit, getting your hit, AP, and stamina. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of that. That's even good in PvP alone. But besides that, that is option 1 of what I personally recommend, because also with the Soul Forge set, we're getting our we're going for the basically the 4 set bonus, because we don't want to go anywhere higher, because there's other items in other areas that are just really good to have and maintain in the place. I would also say too, Black Hand's Breath is really good. That's what I'm deciding to go with. But if you do have Sandstorm, this is really good for trash clearing, and I think Sandstorm is better in between trash pools, which I personally would recommend in between your trash clearing. Slapping on Sandstorm, you just get more bang for your buck for your damage. Especially when you're doing Consecrated with Sandstorm, Divine Storm. You're doing a lot of AoE, surprisingly, you know? You're doing really good with that. For option 2, though, of PvE twisting. So we'll have timestamps in this video. Don't worry, guys. I'm taking care of everybody, all right? Everybody sit down. Have a Lunchable. Do you like pizza one? Do you like pizza? Back up. That was almost a Hodge. Settle down. Option 2. Let's say you didn't go towards the, Weaponsmith route, right? And, right now, you went towards the Armorsmith route. So you're doing more of Lionheart Helm. That's what you want. And nothing wrong with Lionheart Helm. Traditionally, and obviously, we all know this, one of the most iconic helmets in the game. A lot of, plate wearers look for this helm because of its juicy stats that you get, on top of slapping another 8 strength onto this already with 18, and getting your 2% crit, 2% hit. What more can you want? It's a juicy, juicy helmet. But overall, though, this is your build if you're going armor smithing, in my opinion, and using Wailing Berserker Chestplate still, because it's very, very damn strong. And the Unstoppable Force, which I would recommend, because you're getting 19 strength, 15 stamina, plus a 2% crit chance on this weapon, which is a built-in Black Hand Breath already that you're getting. Now, you don't need to go Breath of the Beast here. I know I went Breath of the Beast. For this case, you can go Black Hand's Breath for another 1% crit and just drop your hit chance from 9 to 8. Completely up to you. But this is another option I would personally recommend going into Molten Core level 1, level 2. If you're doing level 1, this is perfectly fine. Level 2 even as well. You can change the 3 agility, and we can go greater fire resistance as well, and then have our fire resistance aura on in the background, and then go from there. I know I have it set to defense here, but fire resistance is not on because I have it probably turned off right here. But that's totally fine. You could do that, be at 75, or even pump that up a little higher with some fire potions, other buffs, etc. Other enchants, but completely, this is a fine setup for you to go into Molten Core and just get your tier pieces, get it rolling, get prepared for higher level content, and then we will go from there. And this is not your BIS twisting, setups. These are just basic scenario ret setups that can get you within Molten Core. This is what I'm giving you right now. I'm not saying this is, best in slot, this is what you need. No, this is just basic, what you can get into MC, and some of these items are still best in slot. I mean, Lion's Heart Helm is nothing to pass up on. Until you get your full tier set, Lion's Heart Helm is still really strong. And obviously you can go with the Soul Forge helmet, like I was recommending. Even my friends, I was saying, Soul Forge helmet, the Soul Forge set in general is just still fucking really good. You can either go that route, you can go the Lionheart Helm route. It's completely up to you. But besides that, this is what I would recommend for PvE twisting. The talents stay the same. There's nothing changing with our talents whatsoever here, guys, at all, when it comes to Ret PvE. The talents stay the same. You don't need to make a change up whatsoever, because mainly we're here to just give buffs, do damage. If we have to occasionally help out a tank, we'll maybe throw on a sack for some reason, but we should have a healing paladin for that in the case. But we're basically here for support, you know, some juicy crit damage, especially doing some twisting action, right? And that's what we're going with, you know, some big numbers on screen type shit. But besides that, it's a solid build. And then obviously, you know, the paladins, you know how paladins are. We have a lot of, you know, group utility that we can offer. We still have our land hands for the raid. We have bops if we have to. But overall, we're focusing on twisting. Let's not jump off the rails. My mind goes into fucking 3,000 different areas at once sometimes because I'm thinking about so many things Paladin related. I'm just here to show you some simple things that I recommend going with and going from there. So this is what I would enter if you had this kind of setup into MC. You should be fine until you get more tier pieces. Maybe get lucky with a couple different rings. I know you see here Protector's Band. I'm just using the upgraded one from the Silverwing Sentinels. I'm using Drake Claw from Sunken Temple as well. It should be around here. Yeah, Draclaw of the Berserker, and then Protector's Band. Let's look that up real quick. Protector's Band is the one I'm using for the Exalted with, you know, Silverwing Sentinels for Warsong Gulch. But if you don't have those, we're going to go, eventually, I'm going to show you more of a Broke Boy build with Exodin that you could do as well. That you can get some budget rings from last phase, but your other better rings would be like a Resin Loop from Demonfall Canyon or a Cursed Chalice. That trinket is really fucking good too. But those are other options. We'll showcase that in a second. Don't get me, you know, all mixed up. You better settle down. However, though, option 3, let's talk about Exodin. So we're gonna go into Exodin now, right? So with Exodin spamming, this is basically more focused on, instead of the twisting build where we'll be using Hammer of the Righteous, right, where we're spamming our improved hammer, well, not Hammer of the Righteous, the improved Hammer of Wrath is what I meant to say, spamming our hammers during execute phase. This is more focused on using Purifying Power. You're using your Art of War Purifying Power build because you are trying to aim for as many exo spams as you can, and with this style of a build has massive juicy potential because you're getting a lot of haste with this build, especially with getting a weapon like Typhoon, which we've been talking about. This actually dropped, by the way, I think yesterday in my run. We gave it to our boy though, because I'm aiming for you know, twisting. I'm going for the Hand of Rag, but eventually this Typhoon will come our way. We'll have another one drop and we'll test it further, but I know from the sims at least that Typhoon looks to be very, very juicy, granting you an extra attack on your next swing. You're getting 14 strength, 20 agility, 10 stamina, plus Slap and the Crusader are on that bad boy. And on top of that, with Hand of Justice working for you in the background, you have a 2% chance on melee hit to gain 1 extra attack. So not only are you getting the benefit of Hand of Justice, you're getting the benefit of gaining an extra attack on your next swing from Typhoon, so that's 2 extra attacks, and then on top of having haste on the leggings, haste on the gloves, haste on your helmet, you are going absolutely, I would say, diabolical with this one, alright? It's absolutely insane. I don't even know why I'm talking like that right now. Back up, you will get packed. But it is actually nuts. You're just basically trying to load up the machine gun style of, you know, Purifying Power Ret Paladin. This could be +4 stats, by the way. Sorry that changed there. And then obviously go with your greater fire resistance if you can get that, or get the minimum version, or just go with agility. But this is fine to the barrier of entry before you're getting your tier items that give you the fire resistance. And a lot of tier items, I think most of the tier items in general, are giving fire resistance. But besides that, yes, we're still using Wailing Berserker set, because you have to think about this too. You're getting a 3% chance to get an extra attack on the same target after dealing damage with your weapon. So you're getting an extra attack from your set. You're getting an extra attack from Typhoon. You're getting an extra attack from Hand of Justice. And then you have 3% haste on your gear overall. You're moving quick. This is a haste Paladin Wrath style build. Smack them up. What you gonna do about it build. And it's pretty juicy, I'm not gonna lie. I like the way it looks right now. I would even try that Typhoon in PvP just to test some shit out. But overall though, I like the way this is looking in PvE. So this would be your Exodin style. You're going crazy hard with the paint, right? And barrier of entry, of course. Let's go into the next option though. I think this is option 4 PvE. So this is where we get into Section 8 Ret Paladin, okay? Food stamp Ret Paladin. I need $5 to take the bus Ret Paladin, okay? This is where things get a little worrisome, but you could still make do with it if you have some gold at least to spare to get a Livrum of Fervor on your server. Maybe you might be going for 200, 300 gold, depending on your server. The Radiant Gloves of Dawn, just because it's epic, they're actually easy as shit to make. If you get, you know, those fire things you've been getting from the BRM event, you know, the little, basically, Rengit, the fire embers, you've been getting them every time you do your dailies at the BRM event for the Blackrock Mountain with the Thorium Brotherhood. You stack those bad boys up, and also if you're also doing the whatchamacallit, the Corruptor Stones. I actually think, wait, no, for the Radiant Jeez, I can't speak right now. Somebody, Barrett 50 Cal, where are you? In Minecraft. The Radiant Gloves of the Dawn, I actually think you just need the Corrupted Scourge Stones, and I actually think you just need the Frayed Abominations that you get within Strat. So I don't even think you need those fire things from BRM. So scratch that. This is even easier to fucking get. And if you can't get that, someone pack you up in Minecraft as well. It's not that hard. You can make this shit pretty easy. I think the only requirement that is annoying is the Righteous Orbs. It's like, I think 2 to 3 or whatever it is, or probably even less. But it's not that bad. This is not a freaking high-ticket item. It's actually a budget item. Just because it's purple, don't let it trick you. But besides that, you see we're using the Negating Helm from Gnomer. Why are we using this, you say? Well, don't worry. We'll tell you why we're using this. Because its on-use ability is giving you 20%, basically, increased attack speed. You're also getting spell resistance by all schools by 50, which is nice, but overall though, increasing attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds, and on stacking a 3% haste on this build. And also, since this is a broke boy build and you can't afford Crusader, we're going with the Iron Counterweight to give you a 3% haste on this item. Now, what weapon are we using? What item is this? This is the Impervious Giant that you get. Let's type this in right here so you guys can see this. The Impervious Giant, you get this from the Chest of the Seven within BRD. So once you get this bad boy, need that bad boy, ninja it, or swipe for it, whatever you gotta do. Overall though, get this item. It's pretty solid overall. There's some other ones, like I believe there's a Battleforge axe you can get within Lobers. There's also Sulthraze that you can use. If you have Sulthraze, still perfect, still works. Sulthraze is great if you manage to farm it in ZF. It is a budget item at this point, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy because it's not super hard to farm, but it is just kind of a long process. But Impervious Giant is not a bad option whatsoever. And honestly, you know, you get 1% hit from it, and you get 2% critical, you know, a built-in Blackhand Breath, and, you know, a little stam, but at 2.0, 49 damage per second, and 3% haste, stacking the other 3% haste on your gear overall, this is looking pretty solid. For a broke boy Ret Paladin, we're going with True Strike Shoulders. We have to go with Black Veil Cape. True Strike, you could just farm. If you just do a group just to farm True Strike Shoulders, these should drop pretty easily, at least from what I've seen. It's like it hasn't been much at all. Black Veil Cape, you could just get that right in BRD when you make to the right, when you go fight the little Inquisitor lady. It's like to the right by, you know, where the Marshal is, by the doors, when you do the quest for your Oni quest. Over there, just go smack her up. In Minecraft, settle down. In a video game, calm down. Everybody's getting too excited. But the Mark of the Fallen Ring, easy quest to do. Bang that out. That's not that hard. Over there in the Plaguelands, in the Dreams quest line. Soul Forge. Now, the Soul Forge, you're like, oh, is this one tough? You basically get this shit for free. I think you could purchase these items, too. The belt and the bracers on the auction house. I believe you can purchase the belt. If I'm wrong, let me know below. But this is basically the Broke Boy build. Now, Hand of Justice is an annoying item. I will say, probably, in my opinion, I think Hand of Justice, actually, is the most annoying item to get for this broke budget. You will have to do a lot of runs for Hand of Justice, but if for some reason you can't get Hand of Justice and you're truly struggling with that, you're going to have to use the Beast, you know, the, what do you call it? The Breath Beast thing for the more hit and the more crit. If you manage to get Black Hand Breath, if you can't get that as well, then you're going to either have to farm DFC for the Accursed Chalice, which is what I truly recommend more than anything. But if you're still struggling on that one, and we're getting real Section 8 about this, Avenger's Pearl, Gyromantic Experiment, you know, these are things from previous phases that I would recommend. But at that point, it's looking real grim. It's looking real grim for you, Papa. I'm not going to lie to you. You might have to go back to the drawing board and re-roll a rogue. But besides that, yeah, that's what I would recommend. That would be your high-ticket item on this Broke Boy build, is Hodge. But besides that, everything else is relatively easy to get. Besides the Libram of Fervor, you have to spend some gold for that. If you can't get that, then just use Libram of Benediction to reduce the mana cost of your seal spells when you're, if you're, judging, since you are, judging with Exodin, when your, Seal of Martyrdom is about to go away, you would throw that judge just to reset it and remain the 30 seconds out of it, so you can get the maximum efficiency of getting procs for potential exorcism spamming, right? So Libram of Benediction's pretty good. If you don't have any Librams, just pack yourself up. Why are you watching this video right now? But besides that, option 5 for PvE, Exodin spamming. Now you're looking at some big boy stuff here. This is some big boy stuff. This is some big boy things going on. This is you being BIS the fuck out. You're getting Resin Loop. You got Quick Strike Ring. Resin Loop is something it's really easy to actually farm in DFC if you're just spamming for Resin Loop runs. I think it's like the first or second boss, and you can, I believe, I forget what boss is it. I think it's Zilgabob, maybe the third boss. Regardless, though, you could just do quick resets and try to farm this loop, and then just, get that bad boy. It's a really good ring for you. It's not super hard to get out of, trying to go for the Accursed Chalice, which every time I go for Accursed Chalice, the Dream Bow, the healing offhand, or whatever it is, keeps dropping. Hey, Blizzard, up my percentage rates. Appreciate that for the drop rates. But yes, this is your Exo Spam build. For this one, this is where you're getting into like 131 fire resistance. We can increase this fire resistance a little bit higher with more consumes, more pots, and obviously taking away the haste and replacing it with more fire resist from the haste or the legs options. So there is more fire resist to build for this style of a build, but this is basically showcasing the build itself. This way, for the Lawbringer set, you are benefiting off the full set bonus. You're getting a lot of fire resistance from the gear itself, and obviously we're going also with the wrist guards of instability, because it's just a flat raw 27 strength plus 9 strength. That's a lot of damn strength to pass out on just on the wrists. That's not a problem. We'll take that over the other law wrists. We'll just go with the instability wrist. And on the Sims, this has been doing really well as for sure with this style of Exodin spamming. This seems to be a really juicy build, depending also on how that aura is. If it's like a raid-wide debuff or something that mainly just affects the tanks more than anything. I'm very curious to see how it works, because I'm assuming, like, they're saying the aura is gonna, or the fire resist is something that a lot of people are going to need to prep for. But to be honest, if it's anything like back in the day, it's more focused on the tanks. But I think it's going to be, honestly, on the whole raid having to have fire resist, especially if you're going to try to push level 3. So at that point, they're really recommending everybody getting their tier sets and, mixing their gear up with some fire resist options. So we would take away our haste. We would put more fire resist on here, if we try to approach level 3, right? But this is mainly like level 1, level 2. And this is honestly looking really good for Typhoon style, Exodin style. This would be your true best in slot. The only other weapon that I think that caps up with Typhoon is the Blade of Hana. I think Blade of Hana is that's something you could just purchase on the auction house. I saw it for like 1,500 gold. Blade of Hana is still pretty damn good, but it doesn't give you that extra attack, that proc, which is something that Typhoon is like really, really nice and big potential with that to outscale a little bit more damage. In my opinion, I think they're both on par with each other. They're both neck and neck. You can't go wrong with either or. If you manage to get a Hana, very nice. If you manage to get Typhoon, even nicer. Doesn't matter. But besides that, we'll go with it as well in this Condor's Collar, because we get the stand, we get, crit, and we also get AP that benefits Ret Paladins, for sure. And then also with the Lawbringer set having, the ability to use both seals, that is really nice. So especially if you're doing Exodin spamming and you're going to be, judging either Seal of the Righteousness with Martyrdom or Seal of Martyrdom with Seal of Command, however you want to go about it. This is really, really high potential. The Ret Paladin right now from Sims, at least when I've been seeing consistently, maxed out. If you're really min-maxing this out, and this is for obviously my sweats I'm addressing here, you're looking at high 3,500 damage if you're pushing it, probably even higher. And it's looking real nice for Ret Paladin right now. I'm not gonna lie, this tier set's looking pretty good. It seems like it is going live. This is the thing that they're putting in. Seal stacking, it seems that is the truth. So that does raise concerns for seal twisters. I'm not gonna lie to you. But overall, though, I am curious to see how it works out, even on the twisting end, on how this damage is going to be looked at towards the end of this phase, to see what did better. Was Exodin just better with the seal stacks, and did they kill twisting with the seal stacks, and what damage will outshine? Because right now, as of at the moment, without the seal stacking, Twisting is pulling more damage from me than Exodin. But Exodin's, I think, is probably going to scale a little bit more ahead once the seal stack thing starts happening. That's just my, idea of it. I don't know the 100% truth of it, but we'll see what happens. Now, let's get into beefier, a little bit more beefy stuff. So we're going into, like, minimum fire resist option, right? So we're looking at fire resist option. This is what I'm working with. I'm working at 167. Let's right here, down at the camera below. 167 fire resist, right? So we're at 167. This is if, also having, if you manage to get lucky with this with a Blaze Fury medallion, pretty damn juicy. There's also a trinket for Blazing Emblem, with it's just natural 15 fire resistance, and then increases fire resistance by 50 and reduces all fire damage taken by 25 for 15 seconds, 10-minute cooldown. So that's actually a pretty juicy trinket as well. But this is something that I would rock into Molten Core, because now we're gonna go with other options. We're still at 7% hit, so we're chilling, but we're going with Heart of the Scale. So let's actually write that in here so you guys can see this. So we're going Heart of the Scale, increase your fire resistance by 20 and deals 20 fire damage to anyone who strikes you with a melee attack for 300 seconds. 300 seconds, I'm not sure if that's entirely true. However, though, I don't want to, correct myself if I'm wrong on that. However, though, it's more about the fire resistance usage of itself. Let's actually Google that real quick, because I don't want to be incorrect on that and sound like a jackass. Heart of the Scale. Let's look at that one. Here it is. Okay. Who strikes you, basically with a melee attack for 5 minutes. Okay, so maybe that's the damage output overall. Anywho, not a big deal. Back to the damn video. Don't get packed up. Overall, Heart of the Scale is nice, right? And then the Fire Extinguisher. This is really juicy. It's just a flat plus 20 fire resistance, but it's on use. Removes all harmful magic fire effects. 2-minute cooldown. That's a badass fucking trinket. I need to get me one of those fire extinguishers. Any fighter fires in chat? Let me own one of those bad boys. Thank you very much. But yeah, I would love to have something like that. We're still using Black Blade of Sharon because obviously we don't have nothing, beating this right now. I've been trying to farm the Ruined Blade of the Baron of Rivendare. No luck with that. Maybe, cross our fingers in chat. We'll get some hope. But Black Blade of Sharon, we still get our group buffs and benefit, off of the different things I was talking about with the Black Blade. But overall, though, this is what I'm going to enter with what I would love to, continue entering MCs in the future with this gear until we get a little bit more gear and get a little bit more beefier. And everything else is still kind of remaining the same as you've seen, besides some trinket changes, besides, a little more resist options on the shoulders and stuff like that, on the helm, on the legs, which you would use the Librams of Resilience, by the way, if I haven't mentioned this. Librams of Resilience, you can get this within, basically like through like a mini quest, and you would hand it over there, I believe, by the Burning Steps up north to the cave. But besides that, if someone has a lesser Arkham Resilience and they're selling that, you could just ask them, could I pay for your resilience, and you can enchant me how much you want, gold wise, and they'll just enchant it for you. So look in trade chat for an Arkham of Resilience. That will go really good from there to help you guys out. But besides that, let's go into the final one. To the final more resist option, PvE, Twisting Paladin, for maximum fire resistance, and as you see, the Hand of Rag. The Hand of Rag is a massive one. 32 fire resistance is something that no Paladin, no Druid will skip out on. I can't believe I had to say Druid in that line, but I had to, but it is what it is. Don't get packed. Yes, we are, going for the Hand of Rag. It's just something that's going to be really good for Twisting. A lot of the Sims have shown a lot of high potential with the Hand of Rag overall, and with this set, you're really maximum out your fire resistance. I think we're at 260 here. 260 fire resistance, and what was the because just to reread it, that's at 226. Yeah, you're looking juicy. You're way over the burden of fire resist. You can even drop some fire resist if you wish to, but at this point, I think this is juicy. In general, I like the fire resistance a lot. I like a lot of things that are on gear that add a little bit more survivability rather than just having to always maximize damage. We're already going to be doing pretty damn good damage, 1593 AP, especially with us trying to twist as well. The scales of damage are pretty high for the ceiling, especially with all the buffs that we have. If we're completely min-maxing, big Giga Chad build right here, massive Giga Chad build. I love to see this. and I like the way it's looking. I think this is something I would personally want to aim for as a paladin being kitted out. This is what I'm looking at right now for endgame PvE Ret Paladin, you know, for what I want to go. When we do talk about, though, PvP, we will go in depth with, like, you know, other options of other gear, because there is a lot of other gear exalted from Arathi Basin, Alterac Valley, that you can go for. And also, you know, we would go for other things like, you know, more health, either more healing done, and other, you know, options to keep more survivability. But the fire resist from even these tier set alone is really nice, and especially with its tier set bonuses, something you would use in PvP as well. But in general, though, I'm very excited to create that guide at one point, but we got a lot of other things to talk about. As you know, through the days, we have to talk about AV forms, what's going on with the silent nerfs in AV, and then a couple other things I have to do on the radar. But besides that, that is basically it. As you guys can see here, I have like a lot of tabs open. I'm just making sure. Also, this too, yeah, your Drake Fire Amulet from your Oni quest, that gives you just normal 15 fire resist as well. So this is a subtopic, am I even speaking English, editor? Did I say subtopic or topic? Put that on the script next time, sir. I said what I said. Unbelievable. 15 fire resistance from a Drake Fire Amulet, you know, just from, you know, going from there. Obviously, we talked about how Shamans and Pallies, we already give our natural fire resistant, you know, buffs to our groups, right? Another thing that I haven't seen mentioned, people are mentioning, but Juju's Ember. Do this quest. You have time. Do it. Juju's Ember is in Winter Spring, by the way, right? You do it from the Shardtooth Echo, and basically, you get these, you get 3, and it's increased fire resistance by 15 for 10 minutes. That's fucking massive. Now, there's other ones for power and intellect, whatever. I'm going for this one. Simple as that. Fire resistance, 15, 10 minutes. Pop that during a boss fight. Good to go. We're looking crispy. Hopefully, we don't get crisped up, though, in MC and not get packed. Obviously, great fire protection potions. Absorb up to 3250 fire damage at a maximum. Lasts 1 hour on a 2-minute cooldown. You're going to be needing elemental fire and dream foil, so get your, you know, your alchemists to be crafting these bad boys for you. But besides that, the only other things that we're looking at, as obviously, you know, later down the line, is the 15 fire resistance on the shoulder slot items, and then the 20 from the cloak. So you have your Hydraxian one, and then we have our, you know, the Thorium Brotherhood. So these are the 2 that we're basically trying to get eventually towards to. And then finally, for the Duke's Domain, something that's going to be massive, and Hydraxian Warlord's Exalted Rep, a trinket that not only gives you 22 weapon stamina, which is beautiful in PvP, by the way, and for a tank in PvE, but 25 resistance, and the use effect, expanding the Duke's Domain. It's funny that my guild's name is called Domains Expansion. This was meant to be, chat. This was meant to be Papa T at the top of the mountain with the guild. Much love to ya. However, though, fire resistance of those who reside within 50, by 50 fire resist increase for 15 seconds. That's massive. You pop that bad boy during a crazy ability. In general, though, this is really nice, but that was a lot to talk about. How many minutes are we at? We're at 43? This is a long damn video. I didn't even expect it to be this long. However, though, much love to you. That's about it. I didn't even drink the Poland Spring today. 1 second. Ah, yes. Hydrate. Wait, what does that say? Hydrate your way to more rewards. Multiple hands of rags for everybody in chat. Much love to you. Back up. Don't get packed. But besides that, yep, that's about it, guys. Appreciate you coming to the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide. I guess this is like the before Ret to the Core Paladin guide, or whatever you want to call it. That's about it. Keep on keeping on. Much love to you, amigos. Shine on, do all that stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. My hand of rag. Seal twist. Seal twist. Twist his dick. I'm out of here. Bye-bye now. Bitches.